does your boyfriend like you this way? And I mean, it was, being skinny is back, but not for me. And it never was for me. Hi, I'm Kata, welcome back to my channel. And today we are talking about thinness becoming an aspirational movement again, and why I don't believe that this should be anything that anyone aspires to be. I mean, I thought we were at a point where people were setting their own beauty standards, and I don't think we should turn away from that. I think we should really lean into discovering what makes you feel beautiful, what makes you feel empowered, and really standing on that and not being so caught up in the body trends. Like, it was early 2000s being skinny, and then it was like everybody needed to have a BBL. And now it's back to like being skinny again. And I just don't think our bodies should be trends. I think if anything, you should be striving to be healthy, and that's it. There should be no other aspirational thing to put your body through. Because to me, life is hard enough as it is, you know, without the added stress of thinking about how skinny you are and constantly comparing yourself to other people, or how thick you are and constantly comparing yourself to other people. It's very taxing on the body, on the mind. When you have so many other things in this lifetime to accomplish, you spend so much time thinking about your appearance. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is really coming from someone who, I feel like I've struggled with body dysmorphia. I grew up as a fatter child, and it was the early 2000s, so like being skinny was like everything. And even though I was really small in the early 2000s, like 2008, 2009, I was only 8 or 9 years old. But those are the times where young girls start developing a schema of how they look based off the media that they consume. And I definitely didn't look like anyone in the media. I didn't look like anyone at school. So that was like, you know, hard for me to feel like I fit in. And even as I got older, you know, okay, I might have lost weight, but I'm also black, so I didn't have a super fat ass or anything. Like, I had thick thighs, but like I didn't have the yams, you know what I mean? So that became another thing. And then that was BBL culture from about 2012 to 2024. And now we're seeing in 2025, we're cycling back to, once again, being skinny. And I feel like, why do we put so like much emphasis on the trends of our bodies? Like, you should aspire to be what your body naturally looks like, you know, love it, and, you know, work out, train, be healthy in accordance to like how your body looks. Because we spend so much effort and mental space trying to look different, you know? Like, I have hip dips, and it's like, but it's like I can't get rid of them. There's no, like, people will try to sell you on exercises and like workout plans and enhancements to get rid of things that are just naturally you. And I feel like instead of being a society where people value individualism, we say we value individualism, but we also want to be and feel and look like everyone else, and we want to fit in. So where's the individuality in that? There isn't any. Cannot say that you're an individual, but you really do want to fit into the schema of what everyone else looks like. So I say all this to say, you know, if you are somebody who struggles with, you know, like just accepting yourself for who you are, don't feed into this trend of changing your body as it ebbs and flows in the culture of, you know, you have BBLs, or you're skinny, or, you know, just things that don't propel us forward as people. Focus more on the things that you can control, and focus more on the things that make you personally happy and content with yourself, because there's always going to be an ebb and flow of cycles and trends and things that you are not going to necessarily fit into, you know? And you're always going to feel this pull and this push of like being unhappy with yourself in some type of way. It's just not, it's not beneficial. So I just want to tell you that. Love yourself for who you are, and I will never be skinny. Ever be skinny. I actually have have more of a muscular build now. So if you really look at people's opinion, I'm probably way too muscular now for like to be considered skinny. And that, you know, that's like on the other spectrum of that. Like no matter how much weight I lose, I've never really looked skinny, and I probably will never look skinny. That's just not my build, and I've accepted that. You know, you have to accept who you are. For, you know, just accept who you are. You are who you are. And for me, I will never be a skinny woman. I don't aspire to be a skinny woman, and I just aspire to be fit. I aspire to be healthy, and that is all I can like strive for at this point in terms of my body, because all that other stuff was just like so mentally overwhelming. Like, how do I look? Do people like the way I look? Like, I had an aunt, I put on like some weight a few months ago. Not a few months ago. Like maybe at this point it was 2 years ago. I put on a good amount of weight. I got to like 160, and I went to visit my aunt in New York, and she was like, wow, you put on some weight. And I was like, yeah. And then she asked me, okay, does your boyfriend like you this way? And I mean, it was yeah, because at this point I was working out, I was being more consistent with working out. I felt like I was eating better, but of course the weight's not gonna fall off. It didn't take me like a month to put on the weight. It wasn't gonna take me a month to lose it. And I was just trying to come to terms with myself and like appreciate myself and love myself at any stage I was at. And I felt like her saying that to me was like that inner voice in my mind coming to life, like that inner voice in my mind that says I'm not good enough, I'm not doing enough. It came to life. It was manifested in this person, and this was somebody, was like a loved one. And for her to say that to me just like felt like a dagger in my heart, and I carried that for months. Like, it was on my chest. It was definitely on my chest that she said that, and I carried it for months. I mean, obviously I've lost the weight now. It was like 15 pounds ago, but yeah, people saying things like that to you and kind of derailing your progress with your self-esteem, you know, you just have to be like, I don't know how to say, like, your mind has to be a lot stronger than that, because there are going to be lots of situations and lots of people who are going to try to derail your confidence. I was in the gym the other day and I was working out without my shirt on, like most people do, and this trainer decided to come up to me and be like, oh, you should put your shirt back on. And I was like, don't be a hater. But then when I thought about it back some more, I was like, why did he feel it was necessary to tell me that? You know, like, everyone else works out with or without a shirt, and I felt like he did it in an effort to try to humble me, and I'm not sure why, because I really like never speak to this guy, and it was like, why are you trying to make an effort at this present moment? Okay, sorry, my phone overheated a bit because it's on my dashboard and it's Florida and it's hot. But I was saying, why did he feel it was necessary to try to humble me in that moment? You know, because I never speak to this person. And I think it was, you know, this gets into like a whole other thing about patriarchy and like men feeling emboldened and entitled to express their opinions about women's bodies, but he felt that he, as a trainer, was entitled to, or as a man, entitled to say something to me about my body and perhaps even derail my confidence in an effort to maybe make me seek validation from him. I don't know. It was super weird, very like weird encounter. And I say that to say, like, you have to be strong in who you are, strong in how you feel about yourself, because there's always going to be someone who thinks differently and doesn't think that you are worthy or good enough. And maybe, you know, just haters. So you have to be confident in yourself at any stage you're at, even if you're aspiring to be something different, because you don't want to get to the destination and still be unhappy with yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, our little chat, and I hope you take away from this that you are loved, and you should love, if anybody should love you, it should be yourself. And we are not gonna do this foolishness with following trends in 2025 about our bodies and putting ourselves through this wheel of like constantly striving to be something different than who we are. You know, there's nothing wrong with aspiring to be better, but let that inspiration be that you want to be better for yourself and you want to be a better version of yourself, but not so much that you're trying to fit into what society is deeming as worthy and beautiful, you know? So I love you, and I will see you in the next video.